Hi everyone, this is Sophia for Plekvetica. We are at Suff Winterfestival 2024, and tonight I am joined by GAEREA. Good evening. Hi.
Thanks for having me.
So you just came off stage. How was the show?
Great. We feel a bit rusty after, we've been in a very different mode, recording the new album. And our last show, it feels like it's been like 2 years ago, but it was just 2 months ago. We felt, of course, great. It's great to get back into this mood of playing live because it's something we really love to do. It's what keeps us alive. But yeah, it's the first show of the year. I will not lie; it's always a bit weird. It's like getting back to this mood after a short break. But yeah, feels great to be back in Zurich. We're talking about it. I think it's our third or fourth show in Zurich in 8 years as a band. Sixth show in Switzerland overall. It's always great to play in Switzerland. So it's great for the first one to be here.
Happy to hear. It looked like the crowd was mesmerized by your performance. So
yeah, felt really good. Felt really good for sure.
Right. So this new year, 2024, shall be an exciting one for you since you will release a new album. Is there anything you can tell us?
There's a new album coming this year. Yeah, we're very open about it. Normally, we're very we keep it to ourselves. All these kind of informations normally, but this time we're doing things a bit different. So of course we were very open with our staying at the studio, with all the videos and information coming out. There's nothing much or not a lot that we want to hide about it or what we're doing now as a band. How are things going with us as a band? That's why people know everything about that there's a new album coming. So yeah, very happy for everything we have for this year. And there's a lot of things still to be announced. I don't know if they will be announced by the time this goes live, but it's our most exciting year, and it's been, fortunately for us, it's always been very steady, but always, how should I say, a steady, small growth every year, and 2024 is for sure our biggest year so far, so I'm very excited for that.
That's great. Yeah, you mentioned that you produced some reels on Instagram where we were able to get an insight into your recording sessions. Mm-hmm. And in one of those clips, you mentioned that you already know which singles you will pick. Oh, yeah. So I wondered if you could elaborate on whether this is a decision that is unanimously clear within the band or if you need to compromise.
Not really. 2024 is a year of change for us. People will understand in due time what that change means or what we mean with these words. The singles, of course, will play a big role there because, as people understand, of course, it's the face of the new music coming out. The first singles will dictate a bit of what the band is all about now, or what we're doing now, or how are we feeling as a band now. And it's a very different approach to everything we've done. So yeah, can't say much, but very exciting times ahead, and I'm very happy with a lot of the changes that are happening with us. We're still the same band, a bit more intense as we go. Of course, we're leaving on the road. Last year we played almost 200 shows. This is what we love to do, and of course it changes us, as I always say, as human beings, as artists, it changes us into different moods, and we are in a very different state, a state that I never thought we would be as a band. It will bring a lot of changes, but hopefully people will enjoy it.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, well, releasing a new album that often offers a chance to take a look back. So, how would you describe the evolution of GAEREA sound from the debut album up until this newest one coming out?
I wish I could say more about it, but there are big changes. There's big changes, and I hope people will appreciate it. It's a new era for us, a new sort of generation shaping for us. We've been noticing as the live band we've become that there's a lot of the new generation of metalheads, these kids that are now 15 or even 13, just starting to go to their first shows. They're always in the first row of our shows, mostly in the US. We've noticed that, and it's great to see. It's something that I never thought a style like ours would see, and we were touring with very I will not say conservative bands, but it's still a very black metal oriented package. It was with Black Braid and Wolves in the Throne Room, so still very powerful black metal package. And we would see all these kids in the front row with their green hairs and their TikTok kind of vibe, and I never thought to see that in this genre. I thought it would be something that would be like lost for what we do, and we've also changed a bit with those kind of vibes. I mean, it's a genre that I thought at some point would be not dead, but only secluded for a specific niche, because black metal is about that. But that also teaches us that sometimes we're wrong about it. Sometimes it's also a genre that can evolve, can bring new people into this realm, into this world of extreme music, and there's this renewal of a new generation into the genre. So that's great, and we feed a bit from that. So I hope this new generation that started to listen to our band digs what's about to come. This is also for them.
What do you think draws them to you, like the TikTok kids?
I don't know. We're an intense band. We don't have a lot of bullshit on stage. It's just 5 people having fun and feeling this music to the most of our abilities. And as you've seen our show, there's nothing on stage. It's just, again, 5 people feeling the music and leaving a moment. And I always tell people on stage that I want to carve these moments in their memory and ours, because we've just been through a pandemic. We don't know when this is going to stop again. And before the pandemic, if you would tell somebody that there would be a whole 2 years where we couldn't go out, we couldn't have shows, we couldn't have fun with our friends, people would call it crazy, but that just happened. It was very easy to happen. So life is too short not to enjoy these moments of if you pay for a show and go watch this show, it's the first of the year, for example, and you want to have fun, you want to remember that, and I also want to remember that as an artist. So everything we do, we try to do it with as much intensity as we can, so that gets carved in their memories. And I think this young generation gets that because it's also a generation of I feel like they don't have a lot of bullshit to preach about, so they want strong emotions, they want to feel as much as they can, and I think that's what probably draws them to us, hopefully. I don't know, we'll see with this new record, this new vibe of the band. But yeah, I feel like it's time for also make music for them and not just for our older fans that been following us since the beginning. It's important to welcome new people into what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say when it comes to lyrics? What are the key messages or themes you want?
I'll tell you that.
And what would you want your audience to take away from your bands if they read your lyrics?
We're shifting quite a bit from what we've done. We've always been about this society, this community we've built for ourselves. And even though it still fits in this realm of thoughts, I think it's a very intimate album. It's a very intimate way of writing lyrics as well. It's very different. Wish I could say more about it. But let's say it's a very... all the other albums were cathartic, more about liberating something out of your body and mind. And I think this is exactly the opposite. It's an album that talks a lot about being trapped in your own thoughts. It's a very personal album from everything we did. I think it's a record that it's more open, less metaphorical, but also a bit more towards us as individuals and not a story that we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to bother you much more with this question, but looking back, I think you, in your lyrics, they were often about like real life encounters with people.
Exactly.
And what were the decisive factors that made you choose a particular encounter and then let it relive in GAEREA?
Yeah, I mean, we tour a lot. We spend a lot of time out there, fortunately, and of course we're very fortunate to do that. We love to do it. We never get tired of that. And whenever we're somewhere, we try to not be lost in our phones or something. We really like to be around each other, always joking around, and then we're just kids having fun, even though we're not kids anymore. And we feel those things. I mean, there's songs in Mirage about things we saw while we were recording Limbo, for example. It could be either encounters or things we see or people we see on the street and get very inspired about it. And it's so weird, but also so beautiful to see at the same time. I remember we were in Prague one day. I think we were about to play our first show in Czech Republic last year or 2 years ago. And there was this dude. We were in this square with a clock. Everybody that's been to Prague knows the area for sure. I don't know the name of the square, but it's that square in Prague. And we were just having goulash or something. And there was this dude dancing, just having the most fun of his life over there. And we couldn't see the hat. We couldn't see where was he picking the money from. I mean, you're always convinced that they're doing something for money or something like that. There was nothing there. He was just no music, just dancing. And I mean, call him crazy, call him whatever the fuck you want, but it's total freedom there. I mean, he could be lost in his mind, but from an outside view, I was just very inspired about it. I mean, this is total freedom, because he would sing and then he would just go somewhere and come back and dance again, and it was just beautiful to see. And it's just a beautiful way of living life. And of course, it's only my perception of what he was doing. Maybe he was just crazy, or maybe something was just completely lost there. There's a screw missing or something. But it's one of those things that even though you're not sure of what's happening, you see that and you just feel like, yeah, we're too much trapped in these lives and these appearances that we have as a society. And sometimes it's just beautiful to see somebody just going out of the rails and doing something different that disturbs the matrix or the cycle. You know, it's those things are very inspirational to us, and that's just one of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And I've heard that you managed to write an album like in the past in a pretty short amount of time, like 2 weeks or something. And so while other bands may take months or even years to craft their album, I was wondering about the creative process behind it. Like, did it reach a point where it just felt right to stop, or was there specific approach or inspiration that sped things up?
Yeah, you're talking about Mirage for sure. We were during a pandemic. We thought we were going on tour at some point, and then we weren't because there was another variant or whatever the fuck that was. And then by this point, we've done everything we could with Limbo, the previous album that was released in the middle of the pandemic as well. So we couldn't tour, but we did everything we could. We did live sessions, we did music videos, we did photos, we did everything we could. We even played live for seated rows. And at some point we just couldn't go on tour, and I guess that frustration and that fury of damn, we can't do this. I mean, we can't go on tour and that tour kept being postponed, and all the festivals and all that shit. And we were growing on the internet because everything was on the internet, but not growing. I mean, we didn't even know if we're going to play live again. And I guess that sparkled that inspiration of writing something and starting the cycle all over again, and not waiting for our government to tell us when we could get out and do what makes us feel alive. That sparkled that, and it was too fast. I'm happy this new album didn't take 2 weeks, took 3-4 months. But it's just different approaches, different inspirational moments. We're a very different band from the one that recorded Mirage. I say that all the time about the previous records, but I feel like we are, because I spend a lot of time thinking about that, what kind of band we are now. How do I see what we did before, and not about if I'm proud of it, but what do I think about it? What if I can recognize myself in the past, in those moments as an artist, and I think it's important to just let go of some things and let the new ones rise. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if this answers your question, but
No, perfectly fine.
there you go.
Okay, and in a recent interview, you mentioned that you think you might not necessarily be a better band than others, but that you work harder. And what would you say are the areas where you put some extra effort in as a band?
Oh, we try everything. I mean, now we're a band that is basically split between 2 countries. Some of us live in the Netherlands, some of us still live in Portugal. We don't rehearse that much anymore, but I mean, we're together almost every week because we play a lot. And that makes us have to work super fucking hard. I mean, we're not an amateur band anymore. We want to be better. We want to be bigger. I don't think we've reached our ceiling yet as a band. I think there's so much more we can do. So much more people we can play for. So many bands we could tour with, and those things are slowly but steadily happening, and I'm very happy for that. That we're a band that in 2 years we're reaching 10 years, and it's unbelievable for me because everything just feels like 2 months. But we keep pushing this when we all sacrifice a lot in our lives to make this happen, to be on the road. I mean, now we're planning videos between tours, and how are we gonna do this? And you fly here and I fly there, and then we meet in whatever different country never been to, and it's all very surreal, and we need to, of course, improve of all these things on a professional level. It's about art. It's about for the audience it means something, but for us means that thing, but also means that we need to be on the top of our game all the time. And it's not about planning social media. It's planning everything in a 2-year span for us at this moment, so we don't fuck it up for people and for us. But yeah, I always say, I normally say those things about, and I'm always very sure, and of course we get a lot of problems with that, but I don't fucking care. It's about when people compare us to what we do as Portuguese in our scene. It's a very blooming scene, but where people don't work hard at all. It's about wishing for that call from Metallica one day, and it's about the grinding of it. It's about coming to Switzerland just for one show. But then you see all these people. We see Benighted, which are really good friends, and yesterday with Galsverd, and it's all these people we've known from the scene, and all these people that sacrifice a lot in their lives to make this happen. And in the end, it starts to work because they work so hard. So these are our inspirations as people, and people we learn a lot from. And in the end, it's all about that. Connecting with the people that you see fit for building your career and yourself as a person, and growing from that, and of course, trying to always be the band that works harder than all these bands. I mean, it's not a competition, but in the end, you want to be the most professional band. You want people to like you. You want people to buy your merch. In the end, let's quit the bullshit. It's about that. You want to be successful, and we want to reach those things, and that's why we do this so passionately.
Yeah. Okay. And if you could pick one venue and one band to play with, what is your pick?
Well, we were fortunate enough to already play with our idols, so to say. At this point, I would love to tour with or play in with a band we never did, and a band like Orbit Culture, or I'll just fucking say it, Orbit Culture. We're really good friends of ours. It just didn't happen yet. Might happen in the future. They love our stuff. We fucking love their shit, and venue, I don't know. I mean, if we could ever play in the Colosseums in Portugal, that would be fucking massive. We've played big ones, already played a stadium show in a festival in our country that was massive for us as Portuguese. I mean, don't care much for the venues. There's big venues out there. We've played really good ones and pretty historical ones already. But for me, it's about playing with the bands we like and bands we can learn from. So yeah. If you could ever play with Orbit Culture, it would be great.
Sweet, I would come to that show. So before we wrap it up, your band is known for its visual aesthetics, like including the masks and the concealed identities. And I'm wondering what motivated this choice, and how does it tie into the overall concept of GAEREA?
The masks, you mean?
Yeah, the concealed identity.
It's not about who's doing it. It's about how well and how intensely we do it. We've had lineup changes. We've had all these things happening to us as a normal band in this generation, and that just bleeds that idea that it's not important who's doing it. I want people to focus on the music, relate to the music, and do not think if we have long hair or mustache. I really don't care for that. I want people to be able to close their eyes on our show and enjoy the ride and feel whatever we do with just the music. Of course, the visual aspect of what we do live and off stage with the videos, the masks, of course, it's a whole strong package, so to say. But for me, everything comes down to the moment where we have to play these songs for the audience. Everything ends there. Everything kind of drives to that moment. And that moment is very important to us. It's a moment where we can actually be ourselves and feel ourselves with everything we do as musicians. And I mean, it's a question I answer a lot of times, and now I'm just noticing that it changes throughout the years and throughout the times that I have to answer it. But right now it feels like it's not important. I don't think people care that much who's doing it, as long as they can feel something with what we're doing on stage and the videos. So it's about that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. And the last question, what are you looking forward most in this new year, 2024?
Touring as much as we can. We have very exciting things to announce in 2 or 3 days. Might be already out by the time it's out. This is live. There's great things to announce. There's great things to do. There's all these crazy fucking ideas we have for the new album that we still need to do. A lot of preparation, a lot of stress, a lot of sleepless nights, but also a lot of touring, a lot of joy, a lot of meeting new people. That's why we do it. So it's a year of a lot of that coming. So we're really looking forward to that.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you so much for taking your time. And also you, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out GAEREA, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao.